the shower thoughts just hit different. Like you'll go in, like I'm just gonna wash my taint, and then you end
Yeah.
up thinking about your whole life. You're like, why did I unfreeze that girl in freeze tag in grade 2?
Turn that shit up, got my diamonds dancing. Brought a bitch up, she another groupie banging. Got the whip up, my phones, yeah, we living lavish. Hit the shisha.
Hey. Welcome to another official episode of the I May Regret This podcast. I'm your sole host, your only host, the only host that can ever host the show, Kunal Bergotra. I'm joined by my co-host, Daniel.
Wow.
My co-host.
Okay.
Also in the studio with us, we have our AV intern, Craig. Craig still doesn't speak. And today in the studio, we are joined by yet another guest. Today, our guest is a man who's known as potentially, I'm just quoting here, the sweetest Babu in the group. We all know him from his fine work in several Mavs and Govind tracks that he's been a part of, which always set the mood for any pre or house party. Of course, if you need a banger taken to flex on your IG, you've got your photographer right here. And perhaps you may even know him from his ability to always make things hectic in a good way and get everyone hyped for a night out. But me, personally, I know him as a man, the only man who could put together a PowerPoint presentation with several effective and reliable mathematical models proving the importance of a strong guy-girl ratio at a house party. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest today is none other than Govind. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for joining us. Clap it up one time.
I honestly feel honored. I feel, yeah, that was a great introduction. Thank you.
You got it. So, Daniel, do you happen to know what our topic is for today's episode?
By chance, I actually do. So, guys, as we know, this podcast is an opportunity for us to get to know each other better, right? As friends, we're here to support each other, share experiences, and grow together. Now, unfortunately, through the dense thicket that is our day-to-day life and responsibilities, our time together is sparse. Yes, we spend time to chill and party together, but when do we have the time to dig deep, to really understand each other's thoughts and feelings, and to bring to surface the reasoning behind our often questionable decision-making? Well, ladies and gentlemen, now is the time, because in this episode, we are going to ask each other, what the hell were you thinking when you did insert questionable decision?
Okay.
Wow.
And that's the theme of this episode.
Nice. Okay, sweet. How did we want to start that off? Did anyone want to fire one off in particular to open this up?
Well, I feel like you had one loaded already, right? Like when we were coming up with this idea.
I mean, I don't know if I had one loaded, but I have one right now for sure.
All right, run it. Let's see.
So, Kunal, what the hell were you thinking when you let me rent your room?
Oh, there we go.
Damn, right off the bat.
I was kind of hoping this would come up.
Okay. Let's see. Going back to it. The idea to move in. And we've talked about this house in the past, and the house that I lived in last year. The idea.
The WW.
The WW house. The idea for that kind of came up just out of the blue when talking to Sid and ultimately deciding to move in. But it kind of came up a little late in the game, and I knew that I wasn't going to be living in the house during the summer months, so I was looking for a subletter. And so it was like, oh, hey, by the way, I know you haven't met him, but this guy's looking for one, so maybe you could let him. I was like, okay, cool. We got in touch, straightened out some financial details at the start. So yeah, then ultimately Govind and I came to an agreement for, I don't remember how much, but
I honestly don't remember. I forget a lot about it.
Yeah. So whatever we came to, we came to a pretty good price, I think, for both of us.
And what was your feeling of Govind at the time? Because like you didn't really know him; it was just like a friend of a friend at this point, right? Like, did you have any initial feelings about him?
No, I'd never actually interacted with him, and it's in person, and it's always kind of hard to get a feel for someone over text. So I wasn't too sure, and that's why I wasn't that's why I wasn't trying to be too hectic, and because I had no idea what kind of guy he was. I didn't really ask Sid or anything either.
Yeah.
And then earlier on,
I was the worst type of guy, FYI.
Yeah, so so early on in the process, when talking about the rooming situation and all that, I definitely didn't think he was a dick by any means, but I also could tell that like I got the impression like this is kind of like a no nonsense type of situation. Like I don't really consider like, you know what I mean? Like when we're like trying to decide price and all that, and like you were just like, nah, like I'm probably not gonna be able to do that. But like if you can try and find someone else, like that's blessed. And I was like, oh damn, okay. Yeah. So like, there's no beating around the bush with this guy, pretty much. And then before we came to like an official like agreement to like, yeah, like sublet my room, he gave me a call to like work some shit out and tell me like he's just figuring out a situation, and like he'll let me know if he can like try and like bump up the rental amount, like, or the money per month like a bit more. And so from that phone call I was like, okay, well he's actually seems like a pretty nice guy, and like he was pretty understanding on the phone. So like I guess my impression at that point was, all right, yeah, he's a pretty chill guy, but just kind of like a no nonsense type of guy at the same time.
Business only.
Yeah,
Business
pretty much.
casual.
And it didn't help that he was straight up like flexing in a full-on suit in his profile picture too at the time. So I was like, okay, yeah, this guy's really no nonsense.
It's like, why is Sid friends with this guy? It's just...
But yeah. And then,
so wait, what was happening with you? Because I remember like there was some weird landlord situation going on at the same time, right?
Yeah, so I was trying to get out of a lease. I had a 12-month lease signed, and it was nearing like it was almost the end of the 8th month, and we was trying to get out that situation. Previously, I'd already lived in the Westwood house, the WW house, as you guys call it, the past summer. So it was actually Daniel's room I was subletting.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Okay.
Everything was fine there. Like it's pretty chill. But that was also way in advance. I guess we arranged that like a lot earlier.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was just trying to get out that. I really wanted to live with a group of guys in this Westwood house. So like we both kind of were in like a situation where we both needed the other person, because I wanted to live in the house and Kunal wanted a sublet really badly. So it's like a weird tension like was there. I honestly don't remember the rest of the details. I legitimately don't remember, but I do remember being like heated. But there's like, for me, being heated is not like upset or like I hate this guy. It's more like in the moment, like I'll say hectic shit and then I'll get over it like 30 seconds later, but it feels good to release. I remember a lot of those moments, but I honestly couldn't tell you any of the details, to be honest.
Yeah.
Wait, were you heated before you signed and all that stuff?
No, just like, I don't know, just random shit. Like, I don't know. Literally I have no recollection of what happened.
Yeah, I know everything. So I know, I mean, like, I don't think there's really anything else for the for the point that I was describing. We were still like figuring it out, like when it started. I can't really remember anything in between. And then there's the ending of it, which I don't know if you still clearly remember or not, but I do, if you guys want to dive into that as well. Because I know near the end is when things got hectic.
Okay.
I want to dive into everything, even though I'm not involved, but still.
Yeah, yo, Kunal, feel free to say. I honestly forget, man.
Yeah, so pretty much, I was in Chicago on vacation for it was from like the last week of July to like a week and a half into August. And so on like August 1st, I think, like I'm pretty sure it was like the first day of the month, because like I didn't want to have like roaming on or whatever. Like I could only get like texts and shit like when I was at the house, like that we were staying at. So I was getting ready to like go out for the day, and so I wouldn't be able to get any messages. And so I got a message from Govind that morning, and he was letting me know that he like wouldn't be able to pay for that month. And so I was like, oh, fuck. Like I was like taken aback at first, like I didn't really know what to say. And so like I think I like tried to like first figure out like if you have a backup option, like just to be sure. And you said that you had a backup option in Mississauga. So at that point, like I was just about to head out, and I knew that I wouldn't really be able to check my text throughout the day. And so you were like, yeah, so like let me know, like if you're cool with me just like staying in the room, that's cool. But like if you want me to like head out, then like I have a place in Mississauga. So I was like, all right, cool. Like I'll get back to you like when I get back. And then I sent a screenshot of that to Sid, and I was like, yeah, I'm not 100% sure what to do here. Like I don't want to be a dick, but like I also don't know what to do like money wise then. And so then I just left at that point, and like I didn't get my response from Sid, or I didn't really talk to Govind until like the end of that day. And then I got back, and then I saw that Sid was pretty much saying like, you know, you don't have to feel bad, whatever, like it is what it is. Like I don't think anyone's going to take it seriously or anything. So then I ultimately messaged Govind. I was like, yeah, so if you have your backup place in Saga, then I think it'd probably be blessed if you could just go there then. And then that way I could also just move in a little earlier than expected, like maybe like in the last week of August or something, because no one would be in the room. But yeah, that's pretty much where it ended. And then I didn't get any like annoyed vibes from Govind over text when I told him that. Like he seemed like he was like, yeah, cool, that sounds fine. But obviously I wasn't sure if that's how he really felt, like if it was really just fine or not. But I always felt like from that point there would be like some form of like hectic tension or something. But I don't know. It was never really like brought up moving forward from that point. But yeah, that's how I remember
Until
it.
now.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Honestly, I guess from my perspective, if you were like a complete random person, like I'd be like, oh, like let's chill, I'll move out, like I wouldn't be annoyed at all because like I knew you were Encore's fucking brother. I'm just like,
Yeah.
bro, like allow it, bro. Why are you being like a bean? I know you're not moving in
Yeah.
right away. Like that's honestly, I'm like, okay, like what? But it ended up being fine. I don't really care, but I can totally
No,
understand.
I do get that, and I think the thing is like if I knew you and like if we had like hung out prior, I think I would have been like, yeah, okay, whatever, like he's my boy, I don't really give a shit, like you could stay there. Like if we were in like that situation like today type of thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like
No, for sure.
I think it's because it's like the only I didn't even like I know Encore obviously talks about like everyone in the group in a way, but I think the only time I'd really even heard about you is like from Sid recommending you. And other than that, it was like I don't even know if I'm ever gonna see this guy again. Like I really don't know how often like he hangs
Yeah,
out with
yeah.
everyone
I
in
guess
the
you.
group.
I actually truly didn't know like
Yeah, you know
how
what I mean?
close
So
we all were. Yeah.
exactly. So I was like, I have no idea, like, because like this is the first time I'm hearing of this guy. Like I've met Daniel and Keith and all that, so like maybe this guy's like just around every now and then.
Had you met him in person at this point? Or is
No,
this
no.
Maybe like I don't know. I actually don't. Maybe I've seen. I don't know.
Wow,
Maybe
that's so
Like there's
crazy.
a chance maybe like we saw each other at like a homecoming party or something, because this was still first year for me, so I didn't really even go out much first year altogether. I think we even talked about that a bit last week, but I didn't go out much first years except for like Sid's homecoming and Sid's birthday party, really. So like if there was a chance that I might have seen him at one of those two, but like aside from those, that's it. Like we hadn't really spoken in person.
Wow, what a weird start to a friendship.
So
Yeah.
there was actually this period between me moving out and after like knowing I had to move out soon, where I was just like I was just wild. I was saying some foul stuff. I'm just like to sit in like the rest of the house. I'm like because I would have like people over and stuff like whatever like have like extracurricular activities and stuff, and I'd be like, what if I just jizz all over this desk? Like what if I just jizz in this corner? What if like I do this? What if I do that? I just
Yeah.
feel like, let me make this foul. Like, let me just fuck up this room. I would never actually do that, but I was just like, what if I did this? And it was, and so we'd be
Yeah.
like, come on, man, it's Kunal, man, it's Kunal.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's I guess yeah, that's that situation.
Well, there's
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm glad I finally knew
I'm
about
glad
that.
we did take a dive into that, because I never actually really got to like I don't know. I guess I never really got to even hash it out, because I never knew if there was like tension from that point or not, or like if it was just kind of like, oh, like he probably doesn't know me, so that's why he did it.
Like podcast aside, like just to like settle it down, I think honestly it just came down to like first of all, I honestly forgot about that, but I just thought of it like literally right now. But in terms of like you were on one side of it, it's like you're like I don't know this guy, like, and I was on the other side. I'm like, well, I'm Encore's boy, you know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah,
and we
yeah.
were on both sides of that, but we didn't actually know each other. I think that's what it was.
Right, 100%. Yeah, no, I'd agree. So, yeah, well, I guess that's that topic then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's that.
Yeah, nice. Okay, sweet. Daniel, I guess.
No, you said you said you had one that was like juicy. I want to get into that one.
I didn't use the word juicy. I don't use that word. But
Okay, well, whatever.
I think I have one that I thought of along this conversation for Govind, and I have one for you. For you, my question is, what went through your mind when you decided that you wanted to do a podcast and start a podcast? And then to add on to that, what the fuck went through your mind when you decided that you actually wanted to see this through with me, co-hosting this with you and running this with you?
That's funny. I actually don't remember why specifically with you. I don't even know how this came up in the first place.
Right.
But I
and
know
that's why
like
I
Huh? Sorry?
I said I agree, and that's why I wanted to ask.
Because I know like the whole podcast thing started because like I'm a pathetically huge fan of Jake and Amir and like their podcast and everything. So I always kind of wanted to like emulate that.
Yeah.
And actually, Sid and I had basically this same idea for a podcast where like we just catch up with each other. But it was excruciating to listen to. We did one test episode. It was so awful. It actually just discouraged us from doing it ever again. And I wonder if Sid still has that, but I never had it in the first place. So that's kind of how it started with me. And I guess like also too, now thinking about it, I think it's kind of I wanted to sort of explore a space that I've never been in before, like public speaking and stuff. I wanted to get better at and everything.
Yeah.
Specifically you though, I don't know. I guess also too to make it all wholesome. I guess I didn't really have a lot of reasons to hang out with you specifically. Like
Right.
I always knew a lot of the other guys like pretty well, but I only know you secondhand through Encore and Sid, obviously. So
Right, yeah.
like for us to have like our own thing, it's
Right, yeah.
That's mad cute. That's mad cute.
I love you. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, so I got a question for Govind actually. Just thought of now, and
Yes,
I'm
sir.
gonna quote you on this one because I remember I was very confused by the specific terminology used. We were at a friend's house, Keith's current house, and their roommates and all
Right.
that. So we were there, and you were FaceTiming with a a woman that you had some sort of relationship with that I still don't know. And I was like, "Oh, is that your?" You were like, "Oh, I was just FaceTiming so and so," like you said her name. Starts with a K. And then I was like, "Oh, like were you FaceTiming your girlfriend?" And then you're like, "No, she's not my girlfriend. She's my Gunyadown." I still want to understand like what exactly that means to this day. Because does that mean
Oh,
that there's a Gunyadown and then there's a girlfriend, or does that mean that there's a Gunyadown and then and then there's just the other girls you talk to, or like
right.
what's the hierarchy of the relationship? What do you get out of this relationship?
I mean, okay, sorry, that's a lot to unpack, but gun you down really just comes from like it's kind of like a mindset that I have. It's like if you want to do something, if you want to do something, just gun it down, right?
Okay,
And that
okay, yeah, I love
that's
that.
kind of just the mindset. I don't know how I'm gonna tie it back to what you asked, but but a gun you down can be just like a girl, like you just meet at the club or you just go on a date with, and maybe you smash one time. But it can also be a girl that you've been talking and stuff. Like you talk to her more than other girls, but she's not your girlfriend at the end of the day. You know,
Okay, yeah.
so like she's a gun you down. Like at the end of the day, regardless regardless of like what you message her, like what you tell her, blah blah blah, like she's still just like a girl that is not gonna be your wife or your girlfriend, just but you still like her a
Yeah.
lot,
So
you still spend time with her,
right.
you don't lie to her or anything, but she's just the girl you really like for the time being, just going with the flow.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I did kind of expect that. But is that something that like like both of you aware, like both of you are like are you her gunning down at the same time?
I mean, it depends on the girl. So, like, for some girls, like, yeah, they like talking to me just as much as I like talking to them, and but maybe they're talking to other people. Like, that's on them. Maybe they're not. We're both transparent. I guess I'm pretty transparent. Just let them know, like, hey, like, yeah, I'm not looking for a relationship. I'm just kind of just like the best way I would describe it is like, when you're going to Montreal or like a trip far away and you're on the 401 and there's like an en route like stop
Yeah.
and like you stop there and then like maybe you'll just like quickly get some food and go on your way. Maybe you'll stay there for an hour, just chat it up, like stay at the en route, like use all their facilities and then go on your way. Maybe the en route's
Yeah.
so much fun that you forget about your trip ahead, but at the end of the day, you're still going to your final destination, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that. Like the en route knows what it is at the end of the day. It's just like a highway side like stop, and you're just a passenger. You're both not meant to be together, but
Have
it's
you
just
thought about that analogy before? How did that just work so well? I'm in shock.
But yeah, no, as long as you don't tell the en route, like, no, you're my final destination, then you're in the clear.
Right, yeah. Because you don't want to like mislead, obviously.
You don't want to
But
mislead
like if you're
anyone on,
both
yeah.
just there for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah, they're just trying to elicit like my transaction, right? The en route wants me to spend my money on like the Tim Hortons or Wendy's,
What about
whatever.
you always be able to put things in business terms?
I don't care what happens. The name of this episode is En route.
But yeah, no, the only thing is you have to be careful about is like you can't start thinking the en route is your final destination. I mean, it can be potentially like things do change in life, but you have to be clear with yourself and clear with the en route.
Oh,
So
okay. All right. I have a last question about this. So, do you think that like the en route is not the final destination because this en route isn't good enough to be your final destination, or are you not in a space like, or are you still traveling? Like you don't know what your destination
oh,
is
that
yet?
was deep. That was
Or
deep.
maybe it's not your final destination because you mapped out your final destination and put yourself in a mind state that kind of restricted yourself. When at the end of the
Wow.
day, the en route is really what you were looking for, and maybe next time on your way back, you map the en route to be your final destination.
Oh shit.
This is actually really helpful for me, by the way. Like, I think it's all like you said two things, Dan. Kunal, you said one thing. Both of those are And they're both perfectly actually valid. I think, right, it's a mixture, like a combination of like all three of those, right?
Yeah.
For the
Yeah, for
most
sure.
part, though, it's like I think I'm still traveling. Um,
Yeah, I feel
Right.
when
you.
I
Right.
when I know the destination, like I'll definitely make it my destination. Like potentially on the way back, the en route will be my destination. Who knows, right? But I think as of right now, I'm just still traveling. Uh,
Yeah.
what I am doing a better job at now is spending more time at the en routes. Just because I think it's important.
En route.
For any like non-Canadian viewers, there's sort of the highway side, like what would you call them? I don't know, like service areas. I don't know.
Like
Yeah, just anywhere like you stop to get gas and food, like McDonald's
a
on like
rest
a road
stop.
trip.
It's called a rest stop.
It's a rest
Basically.
stop,
Rest
yeah.
stop,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So just enjoying the rest stops and not being like not staying longer than I need to, but also not staying like a very short time. Just find that sweet spot. And if the en route is meant to be my final destination, then maybe there will be.
Maybe just time to settle
Yeah.
down at the en route then. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
It's wild how well this fucking like again, I'm shocked.
Dude, it actually works perfectly. I think for
Right?
me, like, I feel like I spent too long in my life trying to map out my destination. And, like, I hadn't even gotten on the road yet. And now I'm just starting to get on the road.
I'm sorry, that was deep. That was deep.
Damn, yo, I fucked me up.
So now it's like I don't even know what my destination is, but at least like I'm on the road going. Whereas
Facts.
before I was
Yeah.
just chilling, like looking at a map and like trying to
Too
figure it
scared to
out.
get in the car. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Or I was like stuck in traffic or some shit.
Yeah.
Damn. Well,
Wow.
that one took the best fucking turn by far that could have taken. Okay, cool. I'm gonna ask Govind one more, and then I'm good with my questions. My question for you, because I've never actually really asked you about this, and I mentioned it briefly in my introduction, but what went through your mind when you were deciding to start the whole Mavs and Govy thing, and kind of what's your mindset now with like recording new tracks and all that, and how that works?
Good question.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I guess I would say it's my strength, but it's also kind of a weakness. But I have like a lot of different hobbies. And when I say like a lot, like I have a ton of different hobbies, or like
Right.
you can call them like passion lights. Um, Music is definitely one, but I love rapping. I love knowing about the culture, like being informed about, I guess, like entertainment law as well, producing. But I'm not like really good at any of them, to be honest. Right? I haven't like dived into or like mastered one section of it. I've always like loved music, and so I actually linked up with Encore Engineering, aka your brother, and that was actually the first track I've ever recorded. I just wanted to record a track and about my life and just stuff I believe in, like not embellish anything really, right? So like not really talking about I don't know like money because I'm not rich by any means. Not talking about like drugs because I don't really do drugs, but just talking about like the hijinks and the funny stuff that I've done throughout my life and relating it back to I guess my current day and trying to just make people laugh and but also make bangers like beats that slap and just bars that hit hard. I don't know. That's
Right.
what started with it, and then I did made that I recorded the first song. I think it was called uh, fuck, I forgot the first song. I think it was called like Drippin', recorded by Encore, and then Azim heard it, and Azim wanted to hop on a track, and then we recorded a song called On Me,
Wow.
and then it went uphill from there. Yeah,
Damn. That's all. See, like I literally had no idea about that. And I think a reason why that answer is pretty awesome for Daniel and I to hear too is because it's like, again, you just decided to out of nowhere just try this thing out. It was kind of not necessarily even a passion, but just something you liked and had an interest in. You gave it a shot. You had a friend who had similar ideas, similar passions. He liked it. And now it's a whole thing now. Like everyone knows you, everyone knows you guys for that. We hear it at every house party, every pre. And Daniel and I, in a very similar boat, just out of nowhere, we both kind of again have a passion for those two comedians that we listen to, and both kind of enjoy podcasting, whatever. And said, "Fuck it, we both have the same ideas. Let's just give it a shot, see what happens." So I could even paint like some similarities in between there, like while you were talking. But yeah, no, that's cool to hear because again, like I know all about like your shit now that you're doing, but I never actually really asked about how it all started. So that was cool to hear.
right.
I
Yeah,
love hearing
no,
that too. I love hearing that too because like when it comes to like your music or like even how Encore started with his YouTube channel, like it kind of inspires me to do this sort of stuff because like there's such a low barrier to entry with this stuff. Like I remember when Encore showed us his first YouTube video, I was like, dude, this kind of sucks. Like, I don't know why. I don't know why it's like he's like spent so much time on this and like kind of sucks. But now it's like it actually blows my mind. And like even I still remember you can check out Govind's music, Govinder, Govinder on SoundCloud. Your first track was Unexpected Odyssey.
Oh
And I
man,
remember
yeah,
I was
that was my
like,
first like I produced that. Like I wasn't rapping or anything. It was just
yeah, and I mean, it sounds okay. I thought it was kind of weird to be honest when I first heard it, but like you could definitely like just seeing your tracks, like they've definitely like just the overall like quality and production of them over time has just gotten better. It's just kind of like cool to see that you could just start any sort of like artistic or like any sort of like creative endeavor and like it just gets better over time.
Yeah.
Yeah, even then, like you guys know Prakar or Gel Beats is his handle on SoundCloud.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, Joe
He
Beach.
streams
Yeah.
as well. Him and his brother Prajvin, he's also part of Gel Beats. They'll kick my ass because I honestly, and I hate to say this, I don't put the amount of effort needed to make my songs of like actual good quality to like a producer or like a real musician's, I guess, ear. Just because I have so much other things I'm doing. I'm working full time. I have a lot of other hobbies. I have friends and stuff to catch up with, but I
Boys
don't.
of the future now.
Yeah.
Yeah, boys of the future, right? There's a lot of stuff I have on my plate, so I haven't really given it the depth. But those guys are killing it. Like Gel Beats is like a crazy producer. He qualified for World Beat Battle competition. He's top 32, and it's funny because sky's really the limit. As long as I can like my rap voice or my moniker and keep delivering consistent bars and I team up with the correct producers and audio engineers, like the songs you're hearing now are nothing. It's I can scale this up so much, but it's about finding those people and putting the time and effort and valuing their time, right? You have to pay them as well. It's a whole thing. You're not going to be getting far if you're not paying for good production and good engineering and stuff like that.
Right.
So that's really the
Yeah.
next step. So as of right now, I'm kind of keeping it as me and Azim record at our own houses and we combine tracks like online. But it still hits, they're still good
Yeah.
songs. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you kind of get like you get what you put into it because at the end of the
Exactly.
day, I guess like you could just drop everything and make, but it's like, is that really what you want to focus all your time on? And you
Yeah.
know, for someone like Prakar, like it's like kind of like yes, you know what I mean, and then you could see that in his work, like how it's gotten way better.
Yeah, he puts a
Yeah.
lot of effort into it. Yeah.
Well,
I
yeah,
guess similar length. Sorry, it's just to follow
Yeah,
up with
no,
that
no.
on the podcast. Like, I mean, you guys are both working professionals, right? I know Kunal, you're still in school, but you're
Yeah.
still professionally working as well.
Mhm.
Do you guys feel like the barrier of entry or even the scalability of a podcast is much more achievable than I guess like a rap career? Or I don't know. What do you guys think? Is the market oversaturated? Like, I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I feel like for me personally, it's like I don't even really care about like making an impact on the thing. It's more just about like how much do I like how much improvement can I see in like what we produced over time? So like can we actually make an entertaining show for like even just our family and friends?
Yeah.
Like that would be
Right.
good enough for me. Like this is uh at least I don't know about Canal, but I don't have any like aspirations to like, take over the podcast game or anything like that. So for me it's more just like seeing the progression than just like being proud of like something cool we could look back on in like 5 years. Because like our first few episodes were so terrible. Like
Yeah,
I
they
think
were
we joked
absolute
about this.
dog
Like we
shit.
had like what like 8 first episodes
Yeah,
pretty much. Because like
yeah.
every time we were like, yeah, let's never do that. Let's never release that. Let's start over again.
Yeah.
But like now I feel like we're starting to get to a point where it's like, oh shit, this is actually pretty cool. Like I would listen to this.
For sure. Yeah.
And also, I think to answer your question, I think it also is in terms of the achievability of kind of what you're looking to do. So like, yeah, to kind of harken back to what Daniel was talking about at first, to just create something kind of entertaining for our friends or family to listen to and enjoy. That would be awesome. Now my head's not in anywhere close to the space of like, let me fucking destroy the podcasting game and change it as we all know it right now. But at the same time, like it'd be fucking awesome to kind of have that impact people that we don't know, and all of a sudden just like there might be someone like else who, like I don't know, and like out of nowhere in Hamilton at a party or something, so I'm just like, oh wait, hold up, aren't you two the guys that do that podcast? I've heard your shit. That alone would be like, holy shit, it's fucking awesome. I would just be excited to see where we could take this, and even if it's if it doesn't really go anywhere crazy, that's fine, because what we're doing right now is still just providing so much satisfaction, what I
Yeah.
mean, just for
Exactly.
being
Yeah.
able to do this. And just again, like this is also helping me like catch up with my boys that I now don't really get to talk to that much, or I haven't really talked to as much in the past, like with you. You really can't go wrong. Like it'd be a horrible situation for us to not, or it'd be a bad idea for us to not go at a situation like this.
Honestly, like kind of similar to for what I said earlier, that actually helps a lot just because I'm in the complete like same boat as you guys. Just having like the songs played at all these parties like through like over the years and like people like whether it's people that like it's our friends that know it's us or friends of friends, they're like, oh, you're that guy from that song, or just telling
Yeah.
people we're playing the new Nav track or whatever and just inserting our songs inside and watching people like jam the fuck out of it because often it's like when you tell people it's your track, they're way more skeptical from the get-go. And they're
Right.
already like looking to kind of be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. But then we just insert that track like randomly and people are like hyped as fuck. They don't even know it's our track and shit. And like it just makes me feel so good because it's like we're doing this for fun. We're not lying about shit. Like we're just saying what comes off like our head, just relating
Right.
to like stuff and just like it's fun, man. As long as you guys are happy, like that's all that matters, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Like we're just doing this for shits and like for our own satisfaction. And if other people start getting impacted by it in a positive way, then that's fucking perfect. Like that's
Yeah.
awesome. You know what I mean? It's such an ideal situation to be in. But yeah.
I feel like we're nearing the end of this. I feel like I want to give one more opportunity to you, Govind. Do you have any more? Do you have one more like question you want to get into?
Yeah, like I kind of do have a personal question for you.
If
Okay,
we think
hit
it's
me
too
with it.
hectic or anything, we could always cut it out. So
Yeah, so I mean, what was going through your head when you decided to break up with your girlfriend of the time?
Damn. Which time?
Was that too
Yeah.
hectic? We don't have to talk about that.
No, I could talk about it. We've talked about it on episodes
Oh.
that won't air because they were too bad. But
yeah.
yeah, I'm definitely
Okay.
down to talk about it.
Yeah, I guess like
Which
time
time?
one, like the first time, maybe like I don't know, the third time, I don't know.
Okay,
Was there a
time
third time?
one. No, no, there's no third time, fortunately. Um, okay, yeah. So the first time was it was basically I'll try and give some context without like telling a huge story, but basically I hadn't had a girlfriend up to this point, and talking about my analogy before about like not getting on the road, like I literally just got onto the road at this point. So I started getting on Tinder. I had a date with one girl, went whatever, and then I had a date with this girl, and then she ended up being my girlfriend. So we're the I feel like the relationship went like we started to feel for each other pretty fast. Like we were both in kind of like the same situation, and like we both kind of wanted the same things, and we got really close. But I knew like from the start, essentially like our fourth date, that she was gonna move essentially 6 hours away to go to law school. So I'm thinking the whole time like, oh fuck, like that really sucks that this person like that's really special came into my life and now like she's essentially just going to be ripped away from me. So that's kind of eating at me the whole time this is going on, and I know this is going to happen in the next like 3 months or whenever it was. So I know that going into it, and this whole time I'm thinking like, oh, I'm just going to do whatever, like there's no point in cutting it off. But like in the back of my head I'm thinking like there's no way I want to do a long distance relationship. Like I really don't want to do this shit. But I essentially just like got so attached to her over time, and cared about her so much that like I was like, holy shit! By the end of it, like when she was leaving and I was saying goodbye, I'm like, holy shit! Like I actually can't leave. Like I really don't want to do this, but I actually can't leave. Like so, I'm gonna stay in, and like I love her. So we're doing long distance now. She's 6 hours away or whatever. And I know this is like a super stressful time for her because she was going through law school. It's like really tough. She's all alone there. Obviously we're separated, so that's like bringing tension to it. And I'm at home, like chilling at school, having an hour at time. So I'm trying to be like a point of support for her. So I'm doing my best to like be available for her and like cheer her up when she's feeling down and blah 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 when she's feeling stressed out. So I think over time, a lot of this stuff is just weighing on me that like I have to be supportive of her. And I found myself doing a lot of things that like I just did because I felt like I had to. I wanted to be this guy that was supportive for her, even though I didn't really want to, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And also, this is a lot of the stuff I'm saying now is like, this is me being reflective of it. But I was very blind while I was doing it. You know what I mean? I couldn't think too deeply about it. I was just kind of going with the flow. So eventually there was basically one night where I was super stressed out because I had group projects all day and I had like like midterms coming up or something. Like it was a stressful day. I was working all day. I come home late, barely have enough time to eat dinner, and then I'm like, oh shit, I gotta go to the gym. So I go to the gym. I'm like trying to keep my life intact, basically with like all the different duties I'm doing, and then like I come back. And it's like at this point it's like I don't know 1:30, and it's like holy fuck, I need to go to bed. And I check my phone and I see like a bunch of missed calls from my girlfriend, and she's like, oh, where are you, like blah blah blah. And I could just tell from the text like she's like pretty upset. And I'm like, oh
Yeah.
fuck. So I FaceTimed her, and yeah, she was basically like just very like visibly
Wait,
upset.
sorry, did you FaceTime her? But you had an Android at the time, right?
Okay, chill, chill.
Damn, W.
Sorry, I had to insert
W.
that.
Okay, it was
Sorry,
a
as you
Google
were saying.
Duo. Okay, it was a Google Duo. Fine, you got me.
Guys,
Okay,
opening
so-
up. And we call him out for not having an iPhone.
I'm sorry. Go back.
You know, as I said FaceTime, I knew you were thinking about it. I didn't know if you could bring it up or not. Okay, so I'm Google Duoing her, right? And she's like very upset. Not necessarily like at me, but you know, just like
But
just
on-
generally like promotion of your song. No, like it was just like just generally like feeling very like down, and I don't know if she maybe a bit hurt too that I wasn't responding, but basically I'm trying to cheer her up and like trying to make her laugh and blah blah blah. And then, you know, an hour and a half later or something, it's like I don't know, it's like 2:30. And I have to wake up early tomorrow. Keep in mind that. And I just got home from the gym and I haven't showered or anything. So then you know, she's in a better mood now. She's like, oh, okay, like good night. And you know, I'm like smiling. I'm like, you know, whatever. Yeah, like good night. And then I go to the shower, and then like I start to realize like all the stuff I'm feeling in the background that's been weighing on me, and it just came out in this one thing, and I just started crying in the shower, and I was like, holy shit, like I can't do this. Like I can't be this guy anymore. And like it was
Yeah.
crazy because it wasn't even like I was making a choice. It was just like, oh, this is happening now. Like I am breaking up with her now. And that was it. Like I gave her no indication that I was gonna do it. And then I just like FaceTimed her. I just Google Duoed her one day. And I was just like yeah, she was like, oh hey, what's up? And then like I just sprung on her. I'm like, I want to break up.
No,
And,
the shower
you
thoughts
know.
just hit different. Like you'll go in, like I'm just gonna wash my taint, and then you end
Yeah.
up thinking about your whole life. Like, you're like, why did I unfreeze that girl in freeze tag in grade 2?
Yeah, but that's basically what it was. It was a late night shower that just made me realize, like, I guess like it was really just a crash of like all these emotions that I had in the background that were just weighing on me. And yeah, it just let it out. And yeah, again, it wasn't even like a decision I was making. I was just like, I have to. This is just happening now. Like I have to break up with her.
Man,
Damn.
fuck.
And that was it.
I
and
can
I think,
relate,
like-
man, I can relate.
Looking back, there was a ton of things I did wrong. Were all like my fault, and it wasn't like the situation. But that's sort of why there was a part 2. But I think I'll get into that another time.
Yeah, no, I can definitely relate, man. I can not like to like I can't relate to like your context, but it's when you know you have to break up with someone and
Yeah.
you kind of like you don't want it at the same time. It's almost worse because you're delaying the inevitable. I don't know. You're kind of suppressing
Yeah,
those
for
feelings,
sure.
and you just I've had that in the past, and it's like
Yeah, definitely.
well, I've only had like one actual girl. I guess, I don't know.
The rest was just Gunyadown, right? They were just on.
Yeah.
Also, I'd just like to say about that whole situation, like I still have the utmost like respect and love for that girl. Like you know, I still
It's just
hold
a
her
shitty
separately.
situation.
She's still like like one of the most special people I've ever met in my life. I just like I just couldn't do it. But basically, in the end, like this wasn't for me, type of thing.
Yeah, it was tough. You had to
Yeah.
take care of yourself first, pretty much.
Yeah, basically.
Literally saying like every single girl that's been in my life in the past, I have respect for all of you except for one.
Oh jeez.
And her name is. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
And her name is, and then you cut the episode.
Yeah. I still respect her, but she kind of made me to a savage, you know? It's just like, damn.
Oh, damn.
jeez.
Well,
Yeah.
without that, maybe we wouldn't be able to get Govi on the track.
Yeah,
Right,
who
right,
knows?
right.
We
Maybe,
needed that inner
maybe
savage to come out.
Yeah.
Anyways.
brought that energy out of you.
Man, let's get us to the
Well-
Marvin's room now. Well,
Yep. I think
My
this
guys.
episode really took us on a fucking emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, that was wild.
Jeez.
So Govind, thank you for coming on and allowing us to channel that energy today.
Thanks for having me, guys. I had a lot of fun.
All right, sweet. Well, I guess until next time, next week, next guest, whatever, I will see the rest of you and Craig later.
Peace.
I don't wanna see you pull up, it's a hectic scene. I don't wanna see you, me and Govi on the beat. What you mean? We gon' win. We be zooming through the cities on the west side, yeah.
Rest in peace to this beat, not tryna flex. RKO to the rest, my